Rain lashed against the windows of my beat-up Volvo as I followed the crumbling map. Harmony Creek was a smudge on the GPS, swallowed by overgrown fields and shadowed by ancient oaks. The closer I got to the Ghostlight Diner, the thicker the air became, heavy with humidity and something else, a subtle metallic tang. The diner itself wasn't welcoming. It looked like a forgotten wound in the landscape. Dust coated everything, cobwebs draped from the ceiling, and the single light in the kitchen window cast an unsettling orange glow. I'd read countless accounts of this place, disappearances, strange phenomena, a lingering sense of dread, but nothing prepared me for the absolute stillness inside. I checked my phone. No signal. Just as I was considering turning back, Martha appeared. She was small and frail, her face etched with lines that spoke of years spent observing something unsettling. Martha poured me coffee, black, strong, and remarkably warm. "You shouldn't be here," she said, her voice a dry rasp. "This place, it remembers." She didn't elaborate, but the intensity in her eyes was unnerving. As I took a sip, I noticed it again, the light. It wasn't just burning, it was responding to something. Each pulse seemed to synchronize with a faint humming that vibrated through my bones. I glanced up at the kitchen window and saw a figure moving behind the counter, a man in a spotless white uniform, stirring something in a large metal bowl, though no one was there. He didn't acknowledge me. The jukebox suddenly sprang to life, playing a Johnny 1950s tune, completely out of sync with the diner's atmosphere. I attempted to ask Martha about the light, about the man in the kitchen, but she simply stared at me with an unreadable expression. That's when I saw them, the photographs. They weren't static images anymore. The figures within were subtly moving, their expressions shifting from joyful smiles to vacant stares. It was like watching a warped, looping movie of a bygone era, all focused on me. The faces in the pictures intensified, mirroring my own discomfort and fear. A child laughed in one image, then abruptly stopped, his eyes wide with terror. The humming grew louder, pressing against my eardrums. The music shifted again, a mournful ballad from 1962, a song I'd never heard before. It was unsettlingly beautiful and filled with an unbearable sense of longing. Suddenly, the other diners in the photographs, dozens of them, frozen in various moments of their lives, were looking directly at me. Their eyes were devoid of life, yet intensely focused. Martha abruptly stopped serving, her face pale and drawn. "Don't look at them," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the music. "They feed on attention." She turned and fled into the back room, slamming the door behind her. The light in the kitchen pulsed with a frantic intensity. Panic seized me. I followed Martha into the back room, which was even colder and darker than the dining area. It smelled of burnt sugar and something vaguely metallic. She pointed to a small window overlooking the diner's kitchen. Through it, I saw the man in the white uniform. He wasn't stirring a bowl. He was absorbing the light from the bulb above him, feeding his form with its energy. As I watched, the figures in the dining area began to materialize, shadowy copies of themselves, stepping out of the photographs and converging towards the kitchen window. They reached for me. I tried to run, but the doorway was blocked by a swirling vortex of distorted faces. They weren't aggressive, they were hungry. As I struggled against them, I felt a strange detachment, a sensation of being pulled apart, my memories and identity fracturing under an immense pressure. The light in the kitchen intensified blindingly, and I realized Martha wasn't trying to save me. She was conducting this process. She smiled, a chilling, knowing smile, and spoke in a voice that wasn't her own. "It needs one more." I awoke on the diner floor, disoriented and shivering. The jukebox was silent, the light in the kitchen had dimmed, and Martha was gone. The photographs were still displayed on the wall, but the figures within were frozen in a new pose, a single, perfect image of me, staring blankly into the camera. As I looked closer, I realized my reflection wasn't my own. It was the face of a young man, another diner patron from 1957, trapped in an endless loop within the light. The map lay beside me, its ink now perfectly clear. I picked up the map, and as I did, a new inscription appeared in faded ink. The diner doesn't collect patrons. It collects memories, and the light feeds on those memories to sustain its existence. I looked back at the kitchen window, just as another wave of figures emerged from the photographs, not attacking me, but quietly observing. Then I noticed something horrifyingly clear. My own face was slowly dissolving within the reflection in the glass. It wasn't fading, it was being replaced. The last thing I heard, or felt, was a faint echo of laughter, not from 1957, but from every moment of my life, swirling within the light, destined to become another lost memory.